Hello, everyone. We are here with Sarah to have the next episode of the podcast. And this one is kind of a progress review episode. So we've gone through things like setting our goals, meeting with a recruiter and getting the recruiter's perspective, doing a resume review, a mock interview. And we've also spoken with guests that have successfully completed this type of job search as well to learn from their journey. So, in this, we're going to talk about the review of the current progress. So, Sarah, how do you feel it's been going so far?
I feel like it's been going great. I just appreciate everything that you've done in the last 6 months. I mean, just
Mhm.
pouring into me and coaching me and, setting up meetings to just better myself in my journey in service now.
Well, of course. Well, thank you. And, I'm happy to help. Like I said in many other episodes, I did not get here alone. I had a lot of help myself, not just professionally, but also personally. So, in my personal life, my partner and my family have been very, very supportive along some of the pieces of my journey. And, professionally, people did exactly what I'm doing for you. They did for me. And all they did was say, just pay it forward and say thank you, which you've done. So it's great to know that you're still happy and engaged and going through the process. I know that this is a long one. There was I held an event last September, and at that event, some people did network through, and last month and this month, both of them said that they've each landed their role. So their journey still took that long, and it may be that similar time frame for you, maybe shorter, maybe less. We could talk about some new developments that have
Yep,
come in, but that's kind of where we're at. And in addition to this, we'll talk about how we're going to update our plan and move forward because there are some new developments, like I said. So can you discuss some of the key factors that you're considering when you're deciding to change your plan? So we've been at this for 6 months, and it sounds like we're about to take a few small pivots.
absolutely. So I will say I didn't really understand coming in the difference between like you have your CSA, which you have your data analyst, and then you have your ServiceNow, or sorry, the system admin, and then you have like a developer. So those are different roles, and I didn't really understand that once I got my CSA. And I think that I've kind of changed courses that I eventually would like to be a developer and just applying and kind of looking for some of those roles.
Okay. So some of the key factors you'd say would be looking at what the day to day and the career path were of
Yes.
like the ServiceNow admin versus business analyst versus developer, and you're kind of feeling more that you want to pursue the developer path.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's an important thing to bring up because we want to make sure that as life throws curveballs that we're able to respond to those curveballs and
Absolutely.
there's nothing that ruins plans better than real life. So being able to react and respond to that effectively will also become one of the key things that we have towards building our success. So now that you've kind of evaluated and made this new decision based on those key factors, how did you update your plan?
I would say probably, I mean, it took me entirely way too long to kind of navigate what I wanted my end goal to be. Um, I've just gone in there and just really started studying and then now learning with ServiceNow and just diving into that and trying to soak up as much information as I can and understand like what my end goal is going to be. Because I think you know we want all these goals, but we have to understand that sometimes life happens and um, sometimes we just have to go in there and say, this is the steps that I'm going to take to get to this. And it may look like a hill, and sometimes it may look like a straight line, but you got to get in there and take actions every day to get to that goal.
Definitely. And the only piece I'm going to push back on was how you said it took too long for you to make this decision. Sometimes you need to go through the journey to realize
Yeah.
I want to go in another direction. The
Yes.
big part that you've done is once you realize that, I think that you really made that choice, and I've seen the pivot right
Yes.
away. So part of that plan update was yes, I'm going to look at this new goal or this refined goal perhaps, and I'm going to adjust what I'm doing today and in the future to work towards that in an even more effective manner. And that brings us to one of the things that we've changed between the two of us.
Mhm.
So, in addition to doing the podcast stuff and some of the mentoring and things like that, we are also doing personalized technical, I guess, lessons. I'm
Yeah.
not sure how you'd say it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but these are based on real world capabilities that I come across, and some of them I've even come across in the week that we discuss it. So we're meeting now once a week for an hour,
Mhm.
and we're going through an assignment and then we are building these capabilities within your skill set, and then also showing you how to decide when to use these tools as you learn them. And then in addition to that, at the end, there's going to be a personalized capstone project that I'll give you, where I'm actually going to, log into your PDI, and I'm going to dump in a bunch of enhancement records with the children story records, just
Mhm.
like what I do in with my other clients, and help you build something that you could then demo and then present. That will build a corresponding presentation as well, so that you can showcase the work, how you did it, and then present the value afterwards, and kind of have two different sides of things. So you'll be able to showcase the technical side to that audience, and then also be able to showcase the value and the capabilities and things like that to the management side of things.
Uh, I
Okay.
think a lot of it is getting past, you pass your CSA exam and it's like, well, what next? And then you kind of get overwhelmed with everything that you've learned, and then trying to get in. If you're not in a technical role that uses ServiceNow, is the real world. You don't really know how to apply that. So in
Nice.
the circumstance the other day when we met, it was I knew what everything was, but I just didn't know how to apply that to, say a catalog item instead
Mhm.
of an incident, things like that.
Definitely, and that's part of that real world experience, and why we always recommend certification plus experience. And I'd said this earlier in the previous episode that we recorded earlier today, but I'm working with a client that's currently looking for somebody to come in and do some implementation work. And during our meetings about this, we have communicated that should someone be able to demonstrate that they can execute what we need, that we would still consider them even if they didn't have the certification. So while certifications do have value, it's also experience as well that we take into a factor, and that's considering a real world scenario that I'm actually going through right now.
Yeah, I also think that it's the communication of what you're doing. You can say that you know business rules, but it's if you don't understand how to communicate that to, the person you're interviewing with, I think that that's a challenge as well. And that's been, I will say in my previous interviews, that was probably something that I've had to learn is that something that I struggle with is communicating the tools that I have.
Yep, and we're working through that on our mock interviews and rehearsing that. So the
Absolutely.
the secret to the two secrets to achieving that are hard work and practice, and we're both doing that, and you're doing the harder work. So I appreciate that. Now the other pieces on the key factors are that I understand you've applied for an internship, which comes with a very similar experience that we're doing,
Yes.
and that also gives you access to Now Learning to take on-demand courses for free. So can you talk a bit about that?
Yes. So I decided that I wanted to go ahead and interview for it. And I think even though I've had the experience of like teaching a cohort, it'll be different, like being able to utilize like someone else teaching me and going through real world applications from their experience. So that's something that I would like to get into.
Oh, that's awesome. And in addition to that, too, I believe there was one other piece that you're looking at, perhaps a job recommendation. So someone reached out to you saying they know someone who's looking for a role,
Yeah.
and encouraged you to apply. And I
Yes.
think when we had talked about it, it's not directly implementing or working in ServiceNow to change it, but it is using the tool, and you'd be reporting to somebody that manages a ServiceNow team. So can you speak a bit about
Absolutely.
that?
Yeah, so it's, just from the job application, it's more of like a I would say like a help desk, helping people, they can't log in, helping them reset computers, um, if they're in a meeting and their Zoom is down, just, working through those issues, which I feel like I'm great at because my when I left my last job, they said their IT team left, so I feel like I have the skill set to be able to do that. Um, but it's just not in the ServiceNow. It's not like a ServiceNow specific job, but I feel like, the experience and getting my foot in the door, it
Yeah,
could it could start something new.
that's right. Yeah, it's a step in the right direction for sure, and you'd be moving into the IT industry as
Yes.
well. So I know there's a lot of people listening or watching the recording that also started in IT through the help desk,
Yes.
and that is also me.
Yes.
So right out, well, technically right out of college, I had a developer job, but that was for a .com company in the year 2000, which eventually became a .gone company, and part of their thing is they also needed help desk people, so I did that. And then after I got laid off from that company, I started doing help desk work for Best Buy Canada at the head office there.
Yeah.
So this is still going way, way back, but there's a special place in my heart for all the service desk, help desk people out there, because it's a nobody calls you to say, "Hey, everything's working great, great job." You're dealing
And
with
I
a lot
think
of. Go ahead, sorry.
and I think that it showcases your skill set to be able to problem solve, not just if a computer's down and it's not restarting, it shows that you know how to navigate, okay, well, this is where we're gonna go, and our end goal is to get it to function.
Hmm. Nice.
So,
Yeah, delivering that outcome of a
yeah,
resolution, right?
yes,
And yeah, hopefully it covers a lot of usage of the tool. You can see how different configurations could make that job easier, and that can come with a lot of solutioning ideas as well. So you really need to
absolutely.
be in the weeds to get
Yes.
that type of insight.
Yep.
I say to a lot of my clients, like, anytime you're swearing at ServiceNow, going, "Oh, why can't it do this?" or "Why does it do that?"
Yeah.
Those are the times I want you to call me
Yes.
so that I can try to make it better.
Yes.
Okay, well that's a great update to the plan. You know that we're still moving forward. It's just in a different direction a bit because of some new elements and some new information that's been presented to us. So the next piece we'd like to talk about is how we're going to maintain that momentum. So we've got a list of tips here that I'm going to go through.
Okay.
So we'll be able to discuss them. So the first one is about strengthening your network of support. And this does not just mean professionally. There's mentorship, of course. There's support of professionals within the ServiceNow ecosystem, attending functions and events, even live webinars, things along those lines. But then there's also the personal side of it. So I could not have gotten here without a combination of both.
Yes.
So my partner, my family have been very supportive along this whole entire journey for me. And in addition to that, I've built a strong network and continue to build a strong network, both on the professional and personal side, to help maintain that momentum. How has
Yeah.
that been going for you?
I would say it's been going pretty good. I think that there was a couple months ago when I was just like, I don't know if I should be doing this. And my spouse was like, you have worked so hard to get here, don't give up. Your time is coming. So I was like, okay, like you're right. I need to just kind of refocus. And that's what we did. And, just set some goals for myself. And, I feel like it's been going really well. And, having conversations with people that, it's not easy getting your CSA and then getting into the field
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, but eventually you'll get there. So
Yes, and it's nice to hear you acknowledge that sometimes you do consider,
Yes,
is this right? Should I just stop altogether? That is a tough decision to make, and I would hope that you would weigh, a lot of things before deciding to stop. And I hope that you would also, reach out if you're ever in that feeling or that mentality, because
yes,
I've been there.
yes,
I'm still, even to this day, sometimes go through those days where it's just like, is this really what the next
yes,
20 years looks like? And that's, my partner also kind of says, yeah, well,
yeah,
you've come this far, type of a thing. Like,
yes,
keep going. So it's nice to acknowledge that. Just know that if you're listening in, that other people feel the same thing that you may be feeling right now. That is not the time to kind of, go into your own mind more. That's the time to reach out. So definitely
absolutely,
reach out to your support network.
absolutely.
Okay. The next one that we'll talk about is how you're going to break your job search down into small steps, and you're going to set your limits. So there's only so many hours in the day, and life happens, like we've talked about. So we need to make sure that what we're doing is setting reasonable and tangible goals and limits on how much we're going to do. And that can be something as small as, I would like to find 5 jobs this week that I could possibly apply to, and that's it. That could be the goal, and that could be the limit. And once you hit 5, then you can focus on another area like network building or something along those lines. So, how are you breaking your search down into those smaller steps?
I would think I go in there on Mondays and just kinda see everything is looking like and see if I've already applied to some of them, but I do set a goal for anywhere from 3 to 5 a week because I feel like if you go any more than that, you really get discouraged, like, "Okay, these are all senior, you know, jobs that I have no experience for or limited experience," and, it becomes very discouraging.
Yeah, that can be a tough one. And I remember starting to, when the hardest part for me was moving from developer to architect.
Gotcha.
So, I kind of lucked out because I caught the wave with ServiceNow and got into it because I was the only one on a team that had development experience. So that really pushed me into the ServiceNow ecosystem almost by default. But then when I wanted to make that next step into architect, I literally begged people, put me on a team. I will just take meeting notes. This is before Copilot.
Yeah.
And I did that. And I learned and I listened. And then, what happened was, oh, so and so's on vacation. Chris, can you go do this? And I got my first little junior architect assignment. And I built on that. So
Yeah.
those things do happen, and we're going to need to make sure that we continue to keep that in mind as we move forward.
I
So
think also, just kinda tagging off that is, being at a job where you have those skill sets, but, you wanna make sure that not only do you network within your job and network outside as well.
yes, definitely. So strengthening that professional network can be through your mentorship, through the local community, and then the community as either a country or a geographic region or even the whole globe.
Yeah.
So a lot of these webinars now that they're holding, I find that I'm attending some of the ones that are even put on in other countries during the evening. So it's
Yes.
their daytime, but it's 9 o'clock my time, so I can attend it a little easier and and keep working towards it. So the next one we need to make sure we do is that we have to acknowledge and celebrate the work that's been put in so far and continuing to be put in. So how are you doing that and managing it?
I would probably say, um, really just the podcasts have been really encouraging to me. Just seeing just seeing how everyone kinda goes through the same journey and, the training that we've been going over and, getting online and just really trying to dive into, just learning as much as I can, really.
Mhm. So that's great that that's continuing the effort, and this is the area that I struggle with the most as well. Is looking back on what I've done, where I was, what I've done, and where I am, and then actually taking a break and celebrating that.
Yes.
So that's going to become the next one of the next challenges for you to start doing as well. Even if it doesn't have to be like, oh, I landed the job or I landed a certification. We can celebrate the small wins. Even just this week, I figured out a tricky piece of code for a small piece of functionality, and I celebrated that now.
Yes.
And that helps build energy and momentum to keep me motivated to move forward.
The now learning the little honeycombs, like getting through one of those. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we love our
It
digital
said 8 hours,
navigation.
but it was really
Yeah.
like 15,
Yeah.
so yeah.
That's so funny. I'm like, who takes these courses sometimes and gets that done in that
Yeah.
amount of time?
Yes.
Like, are they doing the labs or like, do they have a cheat sheet? So the
Yes.
next piece we talk about is taking breaks, and this is another one that I definitely am not strong in, but I'm trying to get better. In fact, I've got a bit of a personal challenge going over the course of the summer is to maybe take a break one day a week. So so
And
how are you managing taking breaks? Because I know you're currently working full time, you've got your own family life to take care of, and you have a new puppy.
yes, I do.
Yeah,
I love my puppy.
yeah.
Yes, and I also do, I kinda do my cleaning business on the side,
Oh,
so
that's right. Yes.
yeah, so it gets kind of, chaotic sometimes, but I think, enjoying the moments with the family or, taking time to set the phone aside and not worry about, training or handling the business or, it's the focus on what you're doing, and not let other distractions, come into that.
Mhm. And do you find that if you take a break, you come back a little more refreshed and
Oh,
more
yeah.
effective?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
And I feel like, also, I'm one of those people that, like, once I get on a task, I want to get it done. So, like, the now learning, in the honeycomb, I'm like, "Okay, well, I gotta sit down 3 hours and do this." So, I really had to, get my time management skills into play with
mhm.
that and just focus, 1 hour a day. And,
Yeah.
it seems to be better, at learning when I just do 1 hour a day instead of trying to go through and get it all done.
Yeah, the whole 8 hours in those live taught session ones
Yeah.
are pretty tough, and sometimes I need to review anyway. Well, that
Yes.
sounds great. It sounds like you're also doing, yeah, so that's speaking to breaking down into small steps, setting your limits, and taking the breaks. You come back
And
refreshed. So,
also, a lot of the times, you may not know this, but I also homeschool my younger kids. Um, yes, so and I have, a lot of time throughout the day and the weekends to do that.
mhm.
And those are my, sit down and focus with them, which we have a lot of fun,
Oh,
so
that's awesome. Nice. Yeah, so that's a long, busy day to do
yes.
the work, the cleaning, the business, the homeschooling. Wow. So it sounds like you're pretty much work. Your only sleep hour is what, 3 to 4 a.m.
Yeah, yeah,
It
half
feels
an
like
hour,
yeah, fair enough. The next tip we'll talk about is how we stay engaged with the things you care about, and this is not just professionally, but also again personally. So we want to make sure that we're learning things that are valuable in the platform to make us more marketable,
Yeah,
and we also want to learn things in the platform that interest us. So I try to kind of split that up depending on my next goal. So, if I were you, I would recommend to focus more on the marketability skill sets right now than the personal interest,
mhm,
knowing that when you succeed in the goal of getting the role, that then you can kind of look, okay, now what am I curious about in the platform? What do I want to learn and move swinging back and forth? Because the percentage will never be 50% what I care
absolutely.
about, 50% marketability. And then also that applies into your personal life on keeping up with a hobby or something that keeps you interested in your personal life and engaged. So how are you managing that?
I would say as far as service now, I would say, focusing on, learning the skill sets to eventually be a developer, but also, my next step is to get the ITSM certification. And, so I'm kind of leaning towards learning the skill set for the ITSM to eventually do the developer. But, you know, kind of the background of the developer and being able to just kind of learn both things and understand how things work, together.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, and then
But
I would say, like, in my personal life, oh, I have to set a lot of goals, and I have to, you know, if, for instance, like, during the summertime, my cleaning business does not, and when I say cleaning business, I maybe have 3 or 4 clients a month,
that's fine.
but those 3 or 4 hours, like, that's their time, and that I get to go in there and reset their house,
Hmm.
and, I want that for myself as well, like, I want my stuff to be clean and organized and, asking for help, bringing someone in, not just I do it on the side, so I don't wanna clean my own house, in other words,
Hmm.
so I have someone come in and clean my house and, just setting goals, not just in for my business, but for our homeschool. We set goals every week and make sure we
Hmm.
achieve those and, understand that, hey, sometimes we're not going to hit every goal that we set for ourselves, and that's okay because that's
Yeah.
real life.
Yeah,
So,
that's how yeah, how it
yeah.
goes. That's funny about the cleaning and not wanting to clean your own house because
Yeah.
I used to be really good friends with a sous chef at a fine dining restaurant in Vancouver,
Mhm.
and I remember talking to him and saying like, "You must just come home and
Mhm.
make these amazing. Like, you must just eat all that great all the time." And he's like,
Yeah.
"I hate cooking at home." And I'm like, "Oh, what?" He's like, "I do it all day, and then I'm sick of it." So I'm like, "Okay, I never thought of
Well, I
that."
mean,
So.
also, you know, asking for help, not just in your personal
Mhm.
life, but, if there's something that you don't understand with ServiceNow, ask. You're not the stuff that you don't know, you're not gonna know until you try to learn it.
Yep. And no one can know everything. The
Yeah,
platform is too
exactly.
big, too wide. There's too much specialization in
Yeah,
it, so that I ask questions every day. I'm constantly researching, and things evolve. So
yes,
I'm going through an exercise right now related to security hardening,
yes.
and the last time I did it was 18 months ago. So now I'm like, okay, what does it look like today? And there's a ton of differences.
Yeah, and
So
the needs are different for everyone.
that's right. Yeah. And that speaks to the next tip is we have to remember that every person's search is unique.
Yes,
So, in the earlier episode with Azim, his search is unique in the fact that he wants to find a new position within his existing organization. You're casting a much wider net where you want to work anywhere with anybody on the ServiceNow platform, including even doing the help desk
yes.
role as a foot in the door opportunity, which I think is a great idea, and it shows the dedication you have towards this goal that you'll take a stepping stone job almost like when we
Absolutely.
don't like calling that a stepping stone position, but because it isn't. But yeah, it would be in your journey because you have a different goal. So how are you handling reminding yourself that your search is unique, this is your journey, but you can draw parallels from other people?
I mean, I think that everybody, um, in the beginning, I was like, "Well, I just wanna be a system admin," and then I realized, like, that is just the beginning, and it's, like, a wide range of jobs that you can do, and, just being able to understand that everybody's journey is different and being able to hone in just the fact that, I will get to where I need to be by just going in there and taking, um, a job like a help desk or something like
Mm-hmm.
that to get my skill set better.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot the question.
No, no, no. That about how your search is unique. So
Yep,
that was a great way to answer
yeah,
it. And if you're listening in, know that maybe it's not a help desk position for you that gets you to the end goal. It could be something
yeah,
else, another foot in the door opportunity. So
yeah,
while
and a
you've
lot
go ahead.
I'll say, and a lot of the searches for, like, if you just type in, like, ServiceNow system admin, like, there's a wide range of, jobs, and you're like, "Oh, well, is that something that I can do?" And it is.
Yeah,
Um, there's different things in the Now Learning, you can go through, like, the different, you know, job opportunities and the clients and things like that. So, it's just, sky's the limit. You can go into a job, entry level job thinking that it's one thing, and you could, be a data analyst, but then you really switch over to like a sysadmin, things
Hmm.
like that. So it's really
Yeah.
just based off of, you know, the client's needs.
Definitely. And I had that experience myself. I was a ServiceNow admin slash developer, but the
Mhm.
title was admin. And, the originally when we had discussed it and I accepted the position, they said, it's 80% development, 20% admin, kind of just patches, upgrades. And it eventually was 80% admin, 20% development. And
Yes.
that's okay. That's just what they needed. I enjoyed working there with everybody, and the team was nice and great. But ultimately, I wanted to be 100% on development, and I found an opportunity from there to do that.
Yes.
So
And I
you
will
can,
say, like, I have a friend as well that he went in to be pretty much like a trainer. And, he tells me all the time, he's like, more service now than I do. But, you know, I feel like if you're going into a job, you're going to have to be trained anyways to
mhm.
see, their culture and how they do things because everybody runs their business differently.
Yeah, and you have to see how they've set the instance up
Yeah.
as well,
Yeah.
right? So there's a lot of pieces of onboarding that and understanding how things are. So give me
Yes.
one second. Pardon me. Thank you.
No,
So
you're
the
right.
next one is to hold yourself accountable. So we understand that not everybody has a very strong support network in the professional and personal life. So sometimes you have to be the one that holds yourself accountable, and that is just about setting that goal, working towards it, but then realizing that if you don't achieve it on that timeline, or if you don't achieve it at all, or you pivot to a different one, different goal or desired outcome, that you want to make sure you forgive yourself, move forward, and understand the key factors that led to this situation so that you can grow and improve. So being accountable does not mean beat yourself up at all.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how are you managing the accountable side of things? I know you've got a strong support network and to
Yes.
help with that.
I think in the beginning, uh, I will say just for my journey of getting my CSA, like it took me a year, and we didn't have the next gen, we didn't have the Rise Up. That came out whenever I was studying um, to pass my CSA, and I got very discouraged, and I didn't hold myself accountable because I was like, you know what, I'm just done. And then I came back to it, and I held myself accountable in studying. Um, just studying 1 hour a day, you grow so much knowledge just in that hour instead of
Mm-hmm.
trying to shove it all into, 8 hours like it says. But, just say, "Hey, I'm gonna set a goal of 1 hour a day. Sundays, I'm gonna take off that break or Saturday, whatever day you want." But just holding yourself accountable to, your goals and listing out what goals you have and what steps you can take to achieve those really helps the accountability aspect for me. Um, I don't know. I seen something that was like, write down your goals and pick one, and then in that goal, list out things that you can do to help achieve that goal. And one of those things for me is, setting aside an hour a day because the day can get away from me very quickly. And if I say
Yeah.
8 to 9, that's when I'm sitting down to study. And my family knows that, it
Mm-hmm.
helps me out. And I just mean holding myself accountable to, these meetings and our training, I definitely feel that I'm gaining a lot of knowledge out of every episode and the training that we do. So,
Yeah. Well, that's great.
yeah.
So the next one is continuing to have fun. So this is not just with the platform, but also in your personal life. So one of the things that anybody who works with me knows is that every Tuesday afternoon is my day to pick up the niece and nephew from school.
Mhm.
So I take that afternoon off. I go and grab them some food so that they've got a snack when they get home. Sometimes we go together. Sometimes
Yes.
there may be a milkshake involved that I have to then try to split evenly, or else there's words exchanged.
Yes.
But that is one of the things that I've really committed. It's blocked in my calendar. Any new client that I onboard or anybody that I work with that is existing knows
Yeah.
that Tuesday 1 p.m. Pacific, I'm gone. And
Yeah.
that's because I want to make sure that I'm ready and present and got a clear mind so that I can, hear about their day. So the last pickup was this week.
Mhm.
So I've kind of kept that time around and blocked off just in case they want to do something, and maybe we still, instead of a school pickup, we just drive and get that milkshake. So
Yes.
that's one of the things that I do to continue to have fun, and that really recharges me a lot. How about yourself?
I would say I, I probably have a lot of fun with my kids, and my spouse. He makes me laugh every day. So, as long
Oh.
as as long as he can do that, he's good. But um, I would say just spending time with my kids, and of course the puppy. The puppy just kind of reminds me that you know life is not serious, and life is serious. But you know
Mhm.
all the things that go on is not as serious as we make them out to be,
Yeah.
and to have fun every day. So a lot of times um and homeschooling, I make that as fun as I can, with their learning, and I try not to control everything as I want to do. But I mean, I go fishing. I love to go fishing.
Oh, nice.
Yes, that's one thing. We live right here on a lake, so I like to go fishing. I like to get the kids outside hiking, and we go camping. And my family is very big into football here
Oh,
in the States, so we do a lot of football stuff. And
oh, that's awesome. So, which
yeah,
team do you support?
well, my husband's a Georgia fan, so it's
Oh, okay,
college
so
ball, and then
college ball. Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
and then the Titans for professional because they're right
yeah.
here in Nashville. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, but I mean, we like to go and we do a lot of stuff with our church.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going on a trip in 2 weeks with my daughter to go on church camp. So it's our
Oh,
first
that's very
one,
nice. Ooh,
and
that's a
I'm going to
big
be a leader.
step.
So
Oh, nice. Well, just let me grab something real
yeah.
quick. Speaking of that, so I don't know if we'll still be able to be friends because this is
Uh,
who we. So we and it get so it gets worse. Everyone, hold on. Because how did I become a Bucks fan?
yeah,
Well,
that's kind of crazy.
originally and still a Pats fan. So I bring this up a lot with people that enjoy NFL. We'll just shove this here. So when I first met Kathy, she was huge into the NFL, and she still is. She knows so much about it, and I wanted to date her. So I commissioned my other friend who's a big NFL fan. He's a Packers fan, so you can
Okay.
take from that what you want.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah. So we went to the pub several times, and I said, you got to teach me Monday Night Football. Teach
Yeah.
me this so I can try to talk to Kathy, and she still knows way more than I do. But she was a diehard Pats fan, and a big Brady fan. We were lucky enough to fly to Atlanta to see them play
Okay.
the Falcons. So that was, a dream of hers, and yeah, we
Yeah.
still follow it. And now that the Patriots are terrible, we're looking forward to 20 years of toughness, right? So,
Yes.
but I'm a Manchester United fan as well in Premier League, so I'm used to my team being terrible for a decade. So,
Yeah. Originally I'm from Arkansas, so
oh,
I support the Hogs and in
hmm,
college ball, and they've had some challenges. So
yeah, yeah,
you know,
it's building, it's a building year, yeah.
yeah.
So,
So,
well, we
but I mean,
digressed a bit. Oh, sorry, go
yeah.
ahead, finish
I
up.
mean, we just love to, gather and just hang out together, and, football games is something that we do that with. So
Nice, nice. So I hope like we can still be friends and colleagues despite our football differences. So
absolutely.
so we did digress a bit there. So then we'll move back into the next one, and this tip is centered around leveraging your transferable skills. So some things that we do are universal, being able to problem solve, being able to work with people and collaborate. Some of them are universal, some of them actually are directly transferable. And you brought one up earlier today that I really liked. And when you left your other job, they said, there goes our IT department. So that transferable skill that you built now may help you with this next role in your journey because it is related to problem solving and troubleshooting and things along those lines. So how else are you leveraging your transferable skills?
We had a podcast, I guess, a couple months ago. She said something about being client relations, and I feel like that's something that I have, just because I've heard when I worked at the title company, I had to work with different clients, which is the realtors, the banks, the lawyer's office, things like that. So I've had to, uh, you know, um, communicate with different people throughout a transaction. And then also, I would say just being in the security field, problem solving. I mean, there's things that come up every day, and we're like, okay, how are we going to solve this problem? And I feel like that's IT as well.
Yeah,
And
it
then,
is.
in working with the clients in security, because I mean, our client sits right beside me every single day, and you have to be able to communicate with them and be able to, you know, make sure our standards are, on the same page.
Yep, that's great. Okay, the last two tips, second to last, and these are in no preferable priority order, but is keep learning, which I know you're doing.
Yes.
So you're continuing your learning journey not only on your own with certification pursuits, but also between you and I with the personalized training. So I think that that is going extremely well. You're being pushed outside of your comfort zone, but you're also coming back and seeing how far that stretch happens. And part of the learning journey is also, like you've said, asking for help, which you've done. You did that right out of the gate, and that was fantastic. And it was the exact same thing that I did. So
Yeah.
my first assignment, I couldn't do any of it.
Mhm.
And oh, okay, great. Walking through each piece step by step. And then if I can be honest, I didn't get it the second time.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
that person was very patient, went through it several times with me, and then even halfway through my ServiceNow journey, learning CSDM. That was taught to me, by somebody incredibly patient. Brent, thank you for doing that. He literally went over it 4 or 5 times with me over the course of a few months, and then it kind of clicked. So, great job on keeping on learning and maintaining that.
I'll just tag off that,
Sure.
before, when you sent me what we were gonna go over, I tried to go through it, and then I felt like I wasn't right when I probably was in some aspects of it.
Mm-hmm.
But going to Google, I could not find the answer, and that's what frustrated me because it was like 2 hours later, I still could not find the answer. And,
Mm-hmm.
I think at that point, I probably should just been like, "Hey, I need to reach out and
Okay.
say, um, am I doing this right?" So,
Okay, so that's great. I think what we'll also add into our learning plan
mhm,
is how to find those answers. Because all
yeah,
of those answers are online. So I'm a bit of a Google whisperer.
okay,
And I'm very well versed on the docs site.
yes,
So, many times this has helped me out in a meeting when, you'll say something, someone either presents a different opinion or presents another alternative solution. And I'm like, well, that won't work for these technical reasons. And then I can quickly find the documentation link to support it and then continue the conversation moving forward in a positive direction. It's not to, oh, I'm right, I'm wrong. And many times I've been proven wrong. And I'm like, oh, great, I
absolutely,
didn't know that. So yeah, we can add that to the list for next
yes,
week.
be
The
great.
last one. The last one we'll talk about is staying positive and keep on taking actions, which you're doing. So, you will go through those emotional ups and downs.
Yes,
I still do. Everybody does. That is the nature of being human.
yes,
And that is a part of the journey no matter what, but being able to know that, okay, well, maybe I am in a bit of a valley right now, know that there is a peak coming up after that, so things will get better, and being able to keep that focus and keep taking action is going to contribute to this success. So how do
yes.
you feel that's going part?
I would say it's going a lot better. I think in the beginning, I was really discouraged because, um, I had passed my CSA exam, and I just I thought that I was gonna get this job, and it's taking longer than I expected, but, I think that I needed the training and just kind of know that you're going to have those valleys and be able to say, hey, you know what, I'm just having a moment and I need to be positive. And, it's easier said than done. But,
Definitely.
and talking to someone, I mean, just talking to my spouse about it, he was like, hey, you know what, you have come this far, and it's like, you know what, I have, you're right.
Hmm.
And, talking about it and, sometimes self-reflection is, "Hey, what have I accomplished?" And, to understand it's not gonna be you're not gonna get it the next day after you pass your exam. It's a
Yes.
long process, you
Yeah.
know? And I think a lot of times, I mean, especially coming out of teaching the next gen class, I'm like, it's like you gotta just go for it and get it done. And then it's like, okay, well, I've applied to 100, job applications and I've gotten 3 phone calls. And that's very discouraging. And or going through, all the interviews that I went through, like things like that, it's very discouraging, and you have to just understand, like, that's just making you better. Every interview you go to, every, denied or, job that you apply for you don't get, like, that's just making you better. So, just
No,
stay
that's great.
positive.
Yeah,
Stay positive.
it's turning that no into a positive step
Yeah,
forward. And we still do have to acknowledge that, sometimes the negative feelings are there and it's
yeah,
important to feel them, go through them, which I think you're doing as well. And then going, all right, I've cried.
yes,
I need to be
several times.
done. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man. There was one piece of the CMA program where I had to record this 45-minute straight video in one take, and that was
Mm,
just because that was the challenge I set myself. And I started I think at 8 p.m. doing the recording, and I had a good long cry at about 2 a.m. And then once I got it all out, I screwed up the next take, thought about giving up, and then I got it on that one and went to bed at about 4:30. So it does happen. It does happen at any stage of the journey.
yeah. And I
So
think a lot of my thing that I had to overcome is my expectations. I had very high expectations for myself and
mhm,
other people, and I was let down just for myself and other people, and that's okay. Like I had to go through that to realize, hey, you know what? I've got passed my exam, and that's the best part, and just going through the journey of meeting people and networking. You know,
nice. Okay. Yeah, and sometimes the expectations are just reset a bit, or as you learn more, you
yes,
refine your expectations or manage them. And that is a very important skill to have with clients, is so that they understand what they're getting and what their investment provides within the platform and what solution they'll get. And sometimes you don't need to build a Ferrari to drive to the gas station, right? So
that's
I
true.
mean, I will. I would love
Yeah,
to build a super elegant, amazing solution, but sometimes we just don't have, the people involved are unavailable or don't have enough time, or there's just not enough budget. There's a multitude of reasons that can happen. So,
absolutely.
well, this has been great. Thank you
Yeah,
again so much for your time. Thank you everybody
thank you for
who
having me.
came in. Yeah, of course. Thanks to everyone who's joined us live and everyone who's listening afterwards. I think we've got some other ideas for the next episode that'll happen at the end of July. Once I lock down the guest, then we'll be able to disclose which one it is, but it could be one or two things. So, any closing notes, Sarah?
I just want to say that, thank you for, the last 6 months pouring into me and all that. But also, I just want to encourage anybody that's going through like the next gen or, it feels like they're not making progress. I mean, just create steps and just keep at it. If you're in the next gen program, you have the circle, utilize that. That's something that I didn't do, just coming out of it as a instructor. Use everything that they have. They have the stuff provided to you to help you with your interviews for your resume, and just going through just the process of watching the videos will help you. And just try not to get discouraged. And if you do, reach out to me. I'm here.
Oh, well, that's very kind of you. Okay. Well, thank you. I hope everybody has a great day. Happy July 4th
Yes.
to all of our U.S. friends, and happy Canada Day, July 1st, to all of
Yeah.
our Canadian friends. And if there's another country-based holiday that's celebrating their birthday or something, then happy country birthday to you.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and we'll
All right.
see you soon.
All
Okay.
right.
Bye
Sounds
bye.
good. Yeah.